I just got done with a long walk, and while I'm walking, I'm thinking about things that maybe I'd want to pass on to someone else before I die. And one of them is mounting tuning capacitors. These are old-fashioned tuning capacitors. Most of these that you find are surplus on the internet. This one's two-section of 365 picofarads. This would be used in like a table radio, and the oscillator would be padded with a capacitor. This can be used in many different type of radios. That's why both sections have the same amount of capacitance, so they don't have to make 6 different models. This would be the AM antenna tune, and then this would be padded with a series cap to give you the range for the oscillator, or it could be used for shortwave. That's why it has 2 sections. Now this is a single section. They were sold for crystal radios. It's got a veneer built in that it's not really a veneer, but there is a veneer. As you turn it, there's a 6-to-1 built into it. Now, when you buy these, you're going to have to mount them somehow, whether it's through the bottom holes. There's 3 on this one. There's 4 on this one. And the first thing you're going to run up against is the ones being made in final years. Don't have the holes tapped. See, the holes are in here. See the 3 holes in the front? I'm going to show you how to lay them out. There's 3 holes, or the 3 on the bottom. See, they're not the same as this one, but the 3 in the front is sort of a standard on American-made ones. They're 17/32 from the center out, and I'm going to show you the circle, the magic circle, how to do it. But you have to tap these holes, and this is very brittle, and you got to make sure that when you tap the hole that the plates aren't in the way. Now you might start with a regular tap. This is a 632 tap. Notice it's got like a sharp end on it. It's got a cut. That's for starting. This is a bottoming tap. This is what you're going to have to continue with, because you can't use this one because it'll go through the one hole and hit the plate, the plates, and bend them, and the unit will be no good. So there's one that you start the hole with, and then there's the bottoming tap you have to use. And they're 632 in most cases. You might have one in your hand going, well, mine don't have 632. Well, it's a Japanese or whatever made. I won't say Chinese made. The last these things were made, I think, in Bulgaria, this standard, this type. But I wanted to go over this, that you don't want to short out these plates. Now, if you mount this capacitor to a metal chassis, and your screws are too long, or your bolts are too long, they're going to go up and they're going to hit the bottom plate, and that's the hot plate. The plate that moves is actually the ground. All right, see, it's ground because it's got ball bearings to the shaft. This is the ground. The ground moves. It's kind of counterintuitive to the schematic. So I just told you the secret. You'll get a lot of kits someone put together, and the first thing you do is you check out these bolts on the bottom, and you'll find they're too long. And what happens is companies crank out kits, and after a while they don't double check the hardware they're getting. They just throw it in there. So the person puts the kit together absolutely perfectly, and the radio don't work. They give it to me. I tell them the 4 bolts are too long. They argue with me. I grind the bolts down. I put them in the radio. The radio works. Now they backpedal and they hate me. Just wanted to tell you that happened many times. These bolts that mount on the bottom are too long. Now this, they have like a little pedestal, but you can still, if you get real lazy and you put bolts in that are too long, they will come up and get the plates. But it's more likely to happen on the smaller ones. All right, so now you know you need a special tap. And when you're tapping it, use a little tiny bit of oil. Tighten it up till it gets tight. Go just a little bit more, then back it out again. You want to get those pieces of crud metal out. This metal is not the best. So when you have to tap it, even though the hole's already there for you, at a 632, you've got to be very careful, very gentle, and eventually you will get those holes tapped. So I covered that. Now, the magic circle. If you want to mount this, say in a chassis like this, Let's see if this doesn't reflect too much. All right, now to put this in here, you got to use the magic circle for those 3 holes. And on these standard American ones, it's 17:30 seconds. You have to set the compass. Now, when you set a compass for 17:30 seconds, that's what it's going to look like. Look how small that is. And you swing a circle, and then your points, your 3 magic points, go within that circle. Now, I'm going to do it bigger, just to show you what you're up against. Now, you decide where you want the shaft to come out on your project, and you put your mark in your case. Same like this. I don't know if you can see the holes. Let's get it on an angle that you can see the. Oh, there's a delay in the camera. There we go. You can see I punched these. There's 4 holes, and you got to make sure you do these 3 holes smaller than this. The middle one gets done with a series of bigger holes, and then you go to a reaming tool, so you can get this hub of this to go through, like on here. All right, notice that hole in the middle is bigger, and that's because there's a hub that has the bearings in it. But this is a magic circle, and you got to figure out which way you want these holes to sit. Once I show you how to do it, whether you want this thing in upside down to protect it. You don't want the plates facing up sometimes if you think someone might put their fingers down in there. So then your layout will have to be a little bit different, but still the same trick. Now, you have a point on the chassis, and you have your magic dividers or compass. Now, in this case, this one has lead, a piece of lead here, and we put it here. We put it in the magic hole, or magic spot, and we swing a circle. And I might have to go around a few times until it shows up on the camera. All right, sort of shows up. All right, so now you take your straight edge, and you've somehow made a straight line using a right angle square or whatever, and you're going to draw a straight line through the centerpiece, to the center point, like that. All right, now comes the magic. All right, in this case, on this one, you want the hole at the bottom. So here's the hole at the bottom. Here's the hole at the bottom. All right, let me make it a little bigger. All right, here's the bigger hole at the bottom. Now we need 2 up in here. How do we do that? Oh, you take your compass, and where the round circle hits the straight line, you put your point in here, and then you swing yourself an arc, and that becomes the other 3 holes. And these holes, from the center to out each hole, you should have 17:30 seconds if you have an American standard type tuning capacitor. And they're still available on eBay. They're getting very pricey. Sometimes they're $12. You can get this one for sometimes $12. This one here with the built-in planetary gear, it's actually planetary bearings, 6-to-1. This is up to $44. And this is one of my favorite. But it is what it is. You know, it seems like, you know, when you build stuff now, each part is real expensive. The shipping is real expensive. So I have boxes of parts, bins all sorted out. I can find stuff real quick, but that's me. If you're getting new into this project, you're gonna pull your hair out on getting the stuff together. And that's why it's very tempting to buy a kit, but you got to be very careful with a kit, because over the years they just keep putting hardware in those kits, and the hardware, like say they use they use a 3/16 screw, and then at that size it's not available anymore. They can get a size that's a little bit bigger, and it might work and it might not. It might short something out, and you got to be able to spot that. And I'm one of those people that several people would try to fix something, and then they'd give it to me and I'd find it and they'd be mad at me. They actually get shown up, as the word, And I didn't realize that. I'm like, I thought, you think people would be happy that you found what's wrong with something, but they want you to tell them it's impossible so they don't feel so bad. But now I know the trick. Well, the trick now is I tell them no, I don't want to touch nothing anymore. But I covered the tapping the holes, the magic triangle. You know, when you look at that and you're trying to figure out how far apart those are, and the other way you can do it too is to remember it. You just take the ruler, put it up against the. I'm gonna look at the where am I? I gotta look over at the camera. All right, you put your rule there, and you'll see it's 13/30 seconds, and then you got to add an eighth inch because this is a 1/4 inch shaft, and you'll get 17/30 seconds to the center. I used to pull my hair out making those holes, and I didn't just cut the hole for the tuning cap just a few times. It's got to be at least 30 times in my lifetime, because I used to make brackets for myself, for other people, for crystal radio sets to hold the tuning capacitor. And every time I never thought to write it down somewhere. And then I know how to make the magic circle from having mechanical drafting in high school, and then I'm building stuff over the years. But the last time I did the magic circle, I actually had to look it up online. A guy had a video how to find 3 equal points on a circle. I think that's it. All right, that's it.